We did everything by the book. Hunter Biden showed up. Ironically, Sean, right when he sat down, Moskowitz from Florida, the Democrat, started saying that Hunter Biden's here. He's here to answer questions. He's here to answer questions. And his time expired. I recognized Marjorie Taylor Greene. She was going to ask him questions. When I recognized Marjorie Taylor Greene, Hunter Biden's eyeballs about popped out, and he jumped up along with Abby Lowell, and they ran out and about knocked over 3 or 4 people on the way out the door.
Let me sum it up. 1, there is zero evidence of President Biden doing anything wrong, including in connection with his son. 2, Hunter Biden has offered to testify in public in front of this committee. If Republicans only want his secret, private testimony, that is, as the kids say these days, sus.
Okay, so 2 things can be true. Yes, this past week's hearings are a scathing indictment of the clown show that has become the House GOP.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think it's really interesting to hear the gentle lady from Georgia speak about Hunter Biden leaving, and she is the person that showed nude photos of Hunter Biden in this very committee room, showing dick pics in this committee room.
But they also provided some pretty epic comedy, let's be fair.
Mr. Chairman, don't we have House rules and committee rules, hearings?
Is that there with an inquiry?
Your time was expired.
I'd like to know the rules of the House and our committee.
Read them.
Gentlemen, time's expired. Chair recognizes Ms. Greene from Georgia for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Excuse me, Hunter. Apparently you're afraid of my words.
States. I have great fantasies. I'm certain you do. And you and Ms. Greene might want to discuss them.
Remind my colleagues, because, you know, I don't want them to forget about hypocrisy, okay? I don't want them to forget about hypocrisy. But, you know, Donald Trump was asked about Jeffrey Epstein, and when he was asked, he said, you know, Jeffrey likes him young. Well, how did the president know that?
Now, away from the gifs and gaffs, though, resident truth teller Katie Porter opted to remind her Republican colleagues and the American public of just how unsubstantiated these Republican claims are, and in turn, how grand a waste of time and taxpayer dollars it all is.
So that Americans who love this country and just want a better future don't have to listen to hours of frustrating attacks and procedural debates in a partisan game, let me sum it up. 1, there is zero evidence of President Biden doing anything wrong, including in connection with his son. No evidence of an impeachable offense, not a little, not something, none. 2, Hunter Biden has offered to testify in public in front of this committee. If Republicans only want his secret, private testimony, that is, as the kids say these days, sus. If my Republican colleagues are truly in this to get answers, and I hope they are, stop wasting all our time on holding Hunter Biden in contempt on a deposition and ask him your questions. He'll be here under oath, and the American people can watch. What's more transparent than that? What's better accountability than letting the American people hear Hunter Biden's answers? That's real accountability, not political gamesmanship behind closed doors. This is a game where nobody wins and everybody loses. It is Washington at its worst. And I'll tell it like it is without pointing the finger at either party. This sucks.
And here's the thing, is we're barreling towards another government shutdown, which Republicans want so they can run on it. They have spent weeks complaining about the border, while openly admitting that they don't want to even negotiate a bill to offer financial support to border enforcement. Why? Because how can they possibly fearmonger over an issue and build their entire messaging around it if that issue is possibly resolved?
We don't know what's happening to them on the way. Yeah. This is a humanitarian crisis. We walk through the centers today, Jake, it would make the average American citizen cry to see what's happening here, and it must stop.
Right, which is why some people are saying, why not pass the $14 billion supplemental bill that President Biden has put before you to at least try to help with some of these issues?
That won't solve. That won't solve any of the problems I just articulated.
Right,
that won't do a darn thing.
Well, I'm sure the people in the Border Patrol agents that you're with think it might do something, at least in terms of making their job a little easier for the next month or so.
No, actually they don't.
They don't want the $14 billion?
It can come to an end if the Biden administration will do its job, and they've refused to do it. They're doing the opposite.
So the $14 billion, there are, you're right, 1,600 asylum officers that would be part of that to speed up processing of asylum claims. That's what you're talking about. But there also would be 1,300 more Border Patrol agents to work alongside the 20,200. And also funding to hire 1,000 Custom and Border Protection officers with a focus on counter fentanyl. So it's not all. In fact, most of it is not related to processing asylum seekers. A lot of it has to do with what you're talking about.
Jake, the president should come to the border. What an idea that would be. He should talk to the Border Patrol agents who are down here.
I think
the morale is low.
They function in the cesspool of outrage without resolution. Because as their frontrunner openly has admitted to on several occasions now, they don't want victories for the American people. Because it will make them look bad and Democrats look like they're doing something, which they are.
You said this week in an interview that if there's an economic crash, that you hope it happens now.
Yeah. When there's a crash, I hope it's going to be during this next 12 months, because I don't want to be Herbert Hoover. The one president, I just don't want to be Herbert Hoover.
Donald Trump hopes millions of Americans lose their money from their 401ks and retirement savings within the next 12 months, so he doesn't look bad.
They want the economy to crash. They want border issues to remain unresolved. They want gas to go back up. They want chaos. Because it's the only way that they can maintain a stronghold on their constituents. Because if things were going well, who can they vilify? Who can they scapegoat? Who can they blame?
The way this place is being run is just so absurd. It is pathetic. We are facing a partial government shutdown by the end of next week. The extreme MAGA Freedom Caucus is once again eager to shut it down. Now, maybe they think a shutdown will help crash the economy, like Donald Trump has said he wants. The leader of the Republican Party spent the week praying for the economy to collapse because he thinks it will help him win the election in November. Imagine that. And that really illustrates the difference between Democrats and Republicans. We want America to succeed no matter who is in charge, because we love this country and we put people over politics. But Republicans led by Trump are cheering for America to fail and for everyone to suffer because they think it will help them politically. What a sick, twisted, messed up ideology. They are literally cheering for America to fail. And I guess they think that maybe if they shut down the government, that will help. I heard that the current speaker was on the telephone with Donald Trump, basically begging him to support the deal to fund the government. Because, let's be honest, that's who runs this place, Donald Trump and the MAGA extremists who worship him.
As Katie Porter continues to point out, this circus is par for the course for a party that knowingly has no evidence, yet cries about Hunter Biden not being willing to corroborate with unsubstantiated claims and testify. Then when he shows up to do so, they make more excuses to avoid questioning him in public, because doing so would shine an unwavering light on their giant waste of time and taxpayer dollars.
Chairman said in front of the country several times to Hunter Biden, you can show up here in front of the world, in front of the public. Hunter Biden took him up on that offer. He said, I will show up in public. I will show up in public. He showed up here today. He showed up here in the past. And Mr. Chairman, I know you do your best with what you've got, but you've got members here that have submitted falsified evidence to the record. You have members here that have submitted and mischaracterized closed-door hearings, and people want to say back and forth at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what party it's happened from. You've got members who've engaged in revenge porn in this committee. So it is understandable why Hunter Biden would want to testify in front of the public for the American people to be able to witness that testimony for themselves. You've got members who've defied subpoenas. You've got members who we are 1 year into the term asking what the rules are at the beginning of the committee. The book was given to us on day one. And so what we should do is allow the man to testify. I believe in the power of the Oversight Committee. Frankly, I believe in it regardless of whether Republicans or Democrats have the chair, because I believe that this committee should have the power of oversight. And we cannot do that on a partisan basis. And so for that, I implore this committee to allow Hunter Biden to testify publicly. I implore and I ask for that to happen. And we cannot do that by getting engaged in this back and forth on a defiance of the subpoena. Let him comply. Let him do it today. Let him do it tomorrow. But let the man do it. And with that, I yield back to the ranking member.
Thanks so much for watching. We're only a few subscribers short of 2 million subs. Please subscribe right now to the MeidasTouch YouTube channel for free and help us grow this unapologetically pro-democracy network.